everyone, I'm Priya from Hobby Ideas. We're going to make a Ganesha using natural clay. These natural clays are available in 3 different colors. There's terracotta color, grey color, and we have white. What I'm going to use today is a terracotta colored clay. I'm going to knead this full lump of clay which I have. Once I open the clay, I will have to cut it in small pieces and knead it properly to soften it a bit. If you think the clay is slightly hard, don't pour the water on the clay, but keep your hands wet and then knead the clay. What happens is, if you're using a lot of water or if you pour water in the clay becomes soggy, and when you're trying to build something, it starts sitting down. So to avoid that, you don't add the water to the clay, but you keep on keeping your hands damp. Also, because of the body heat that we have, the hands will keep on drying, and that body heat will also dry the clay. So it is very, very important that when you're working in natural clay, you should always keep your hands damp. Take all of it together to make a nice big lump of clay. So I have this nice round ball of clay, and I'm going to beat it into a slab, a thick slab with the lateral side of my palm. The center of the slab is thicker than the edges. I'm kind of beating the edges little more flat than the center, and this is what I have. You can see my hands drying, and I need to keep on wetting my hands. Just in case if you think they're too wet and it's difficult to work in the clay, you can just dab them on the rag a bit and then start working again. But remember to keep your hands damp. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to draw a very rough sketch of Ganesha on this slab. So I'm going to use this pointed tool to make a very rough sketch of Ganesha, and then later on carve out the clay that is extra. So this Ganesha is going to be in a relief form of Ganesha with carving out technique or carved out technique. So I have this really rough sketch of Ganesha that I have made. So this is how a rough sketch of Ganesha is made on the clay. So whatever extra clay that I have here, I'll start removing it. So these are the clay modeling tools that I can use for removing the extra clay. So you can see the rough outline that is getting formed as I'm removing this extra clay. And this is how it will look. So when I'm removing it, see to it that the clay does not go inside. You're holding a tool which is straight when you're removing the clay. The next step is to kind of remove the clay, separating each part. And here it is. Now what I need to understand is, the outermost portion of the Ganesha is going to be the head, because the head is going to come over the body of the Ganesha. So when I'm actually removing more and more clay, I'm actually thinking of the layers which will come in the front and the layers which will go behind. And I'll start kind of giving a roundity to each and every part of the Ganesha. You can use different tools that we have here. So as I said, the head is the outermost layer. I am removing the clay from the stomach. this will be almost in the same level. So I'm just kind of giving it a slight curvature. So now I've created layered effect where the head is coming out the most, then the stomach, then the legs and the ears. Now I need to give a finished look to it, and the best tool for giving a finished look is, along with these modeling tools, sponge is something that helps you giving a nice finished look to it. So what I'm going to do is, now all these sharp edges that we have left behind when we are kind of carving out the extra clay out, I'm going to soften these with the use of a sponge. Dip your sponge in water and then squeeze out all the water so that the sponge is damp but not wet. What I'll start doing is, I will start making these edges that I have carved out rounded using a sponge. So I don't have any sharp edges. And as and when I'm doing it, I'm also removing if there is any extra clay, or I'm trying to shape it in a more precise way along with the finishing, or trying to create more roundity to the Ganesha. Go step by step. If you're trying to finish the head first, then finish it completely and then go to the next part. I am also going to add little clay for the trunk because I feel the trunk is looking really flat. I need to merge this with so I have a like a cone that I have shaped. Little water that I add here for sticking, and I add the clay to bring it into more relief. I can merge this clay with my finger so you don't see any parts that you've added, but you can merge the clay very nicely and finish it. Once you finish it with sponge, not even know that you've joined extra clay for the trunk. And we have the trunk and the head ready. The next thing I'm going to finish is the body. And we are done. So the final finishing that we need to give is the texture on the trunk. Rather than just making the lines, I am doing it little in a haphazard way to kind of make it look a little more realistic. Two eyes. Eyebrows. The sacred thread that we need to draw. The navel. Border design for the dhoti. Some pleats of the dhoti. You can further decorate it with making these small holes here. We can also make the jewelry for the Ganesha. And there it goes. We have our Ganesha ready. You will have to let it dry for a day or so, depending on the weather conditions. So once it is dry completely, it will change the color and it becomes lighter. You can color it if you wish to using acrylic colors. For the love of craft, please visit us at www.hobbyideas.in.